Greetings, everyone. This is Christina Marie, your host of iStudySuccess, brought to you by Smart and Pretty at realsmartandpretty.com. So today, what we're going to begin to study the successes of other people and learn from those things so that we can implement what we've learned. I like to use a variety of tools. Now that I am a mom, I am constantly on the move. I'm taking kids to school, or I'm picking kids up, or I'm running errands for the family, etc., etc. So even though in my younger day I wasn't a big fan of it, now I definitely utilize audiobooks. One of the pros of audiobooks, as I said, is you can use them whenever you're out and about, especially when you're in the process of commuting. Another benefit is you can utilize it while you're doing other things. So while you're cooking your dinner or you're working out, whatever the case may be, you are able to passively or even actively engage with that information. One of the things I don't like about audiobooks is that although with some formats like a Kindle, you may be able to bookmark it, you can't really literally make notes within the space that are very useful in my opinion. I'm a person that likes to make markings with my pens and my highlighters, etc., etc. So utilizing those sorts of things is not really an option when you're using audiobooks. Another option that I love are physical books. I've always been an avid reader. I love the smell and the touch of a book. But also, I can't just spend all my money on books, even if that's what I would love to do. So one of the things that I've learned to do is to find ways to obtain information on the low. Sometimes I try to find information for free or as close to free as possible. So obviously one of the easiest ways to do that is to utilize your local public library. They're a great place to start in terms of finding information, finding the books that you like, and even testing the books that you would like. There's been plenty of times when I've wanted a book and I wasn't able to purchase it necessarily at that time. So I tried it out through the library, read a few pages, read a few chapters, and didn't really like it. So then I knew that wasn't something that I wanted to invest in and add to my actual library. It's also a way to get information, get those little tidbits of jewels out of the book that you can implement right away. And if you do like the book, you know that it's a winner, it's worth purchasing. Using the library for that purpose is very helpful in my opinion. Also, with the age of technology, it is so convenient to utilize library apps. Our public library system utilizes the Overdrive app, and with that app, they may not have all of the books or audiobooks available that you might like, but it's very easy to request a book, and a lot of times, 8 to 9 times out of 10, any text that I've requested, they've immediately purchased, and then it was made available for my use. And a lot of times those online downloads can automatically be returned after their due date, so you don't have to worry about returning them directly yourself. You're not going to get fees for submitting them late or anything like that. It's very easy to utilize in the digital world. Again, it's not my preference because I am a tactile person. I love to touch the books and interact with them on a physical level, but I have adjusted to technology a bit. I have a Kindle and I do like using it for reading, and you are able to make a few notes through the Kindle app, which is kind of useful. Go to the bookstore. Even if you can't really afford to buy all the books that you would like, you can definitely typically sit down in one of their chairs. Sometimes they'll have tables in a little eatery or cafe area You can pull a few of the books, read them, even take some notes if you bring your paper and pen, and get some of the jewels of the newer books that may not be at your local library just yet. Get some great insight right away and add those books to your future purchase list for your library so that you have a better idea of what books are actually worth purchasing and what books may not be valuable to you at the moment. Another strategy that I like to use while in the bookstore is I use my smartphone and I take pictures of books. Now, when I'm out and about, if I happen to be at a bookstore and I see some things in my favorite section, I tend to take a lot of pictures of the covers of books so that I get the information, the title, the author. All of that information is obviously clear in the picture, and then I also can easily remember the imagery of the book, so I know what the cover looks like. I know what the price of the book is, and I can better gauge whether or not I'm going to end up purchasing that or adding that to my list. I can decipher that later based on looking at my photos and trying to remember what was special about that particular book. Another strategy that I like to utilize in obtaining information, of course, is surfing the web. You have to be very careful and very vigilant because anybody can post just about anything, and it can appear to be factual even if it's not. So always do your due diligence. If you have access to library journals at your local library or online or through your college or university, I would highly suggest just fact checking when possible so that you're not being misinformed and you're not learning things that aren't actually helpful to you. Utilizing YouTube. YouTube is kind of like the internet in that anyone can post to YouTube, so you still have to filter your information, but it's easier to visually see if someone has a good subscriber base, if they're getting engagement with their followers, they're referencing other materials. They're probably a little more credible, especially if their channel has been up for any length of time. So there are definitely some YouTubers that I'm going to shout out along the way, some channels that I would recommend. There's a lot that can be learned from YouTube. And also, although it's a little odd, it can be useful on the go. Of course, if you're commuting in public transportation, of course you can utilize YouTube and actually literally watch it. But what I tend to do, because I am a driving commuter, what I tend to do is connect my phone through the Bluetooth of my car. So even though I'm not watching the video, I can still hear the audio as if it is a podcast, which brings me to my next means of learning. Podcasts. They're phenomenal. That's why I'm making one. Podcasts are extremely useful. They're highly available through iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Check out podcasts. You can search specific topics, subscribe, and follow people who have the type of information that you're looking for, who offer great content and who offer a lot in terms of value. So podcasts are a really great way to absorb information and get access to a lot of insightful material.